Good afternoon then. I'm back out sat in the bus and doing a lot of thinking, which is this is all I've done for quite a while now. Is I've just been sat and thinking and not doing much at all. So the colour has changed in the back. We've gone a bit corporate. Where are we? This is where we were, weren't we? Yeah, no, excuse the mess at the front, because things are in the front. But we're trying to figure out the back end of this thing. And I'll tell you what, these things are fucking tiny. When you start looking at them and you start trying to figure out things, it gets very complicated trying to fit things in the bag. So, what have I done? I'll tell you what I've done. I've spent an absolute shitload of money. I've blown the budget completely on buying a fridge and a cooker for it, or a fridge and a hob, just a fridge and a hob, and that is my budget is gone basically. So, and as well as that, I've got to buy one bit of wood. One bit of wood is nearly 200 quid. 200 quid, Jesus Christ! I nearly fell over when he told me. But I'm going to have to get it because I need that specific bit of wood. Bloody hell. What that means is the rest of it's got to be done on the absolute cheap for virtually nothing. Okay, so that's it. That's where we are now. So the rest of this bus has got to be done on a minimal. And so what will happen is some people will have issue with some of the things I'm doing here. So what has happened? So what has happened is the colour in the back has changed. So my wife didn't want to go black, didn't like it, so I've had to go grey. Actually, I was worried about the material of the black stuff anyway, and this is much nicer, the material I'm using here. So what I've done is I've reused the old panels. I'm going to have to reuse as much old stuff as I've got and recycle lots of things now. And I don't want to show you this, but I guess really, with the spirit of the bus and me showing you videos, I've got to show you my bodgery as well as anything else. So don't judge, okay? Don't judge. I don't know, you probably won't remember, but the old panels had a bloody great big hole cut in here with some big speakers in. So I've repaired that side of it. So there's a bit of wood on the back, and then I've infilled it with a bit of wood as well. And you have absolutely no idea it's there. Well, you do now because I've just bloody showed you. And bodgery of bodgery, I've mounted the speakers actually in the bus itself, so they're hidden away, and drilled a load of holes in the wood. So the speaker sits there, and you can't see it, and you can't damage it either, which is great. And it sounds fine. It sounds absolutely fine. Now, bear in mind, I'm not going for super loud, high fidelity stuff here, but it sounds absolutely perfect there, which is great. So that's hidden away. So I've got to do the same on the other side here, which is what I'm going to do now. I think is start on this. But yeah, lots and lots of thinking about trying to figure out how to get a bloody 6'6" bed in the back of a bus that's only about 2 foot long. And it's not easy. It is not easy. But I have an idea now, and I've done a bit of measuring up, and I think it'll work. But I am going to make it out of wood, and I'm not going to make it out of lightweight wood either. So we're going to have to be pretty smart about how we do this. Okay, to try and keep the weight down as much as we can, but get the strength in it that we need. So the bus is probably only going to do about 10 miles to the gallon by the time I've finished. But we'll see. We'll see how we get on with it, because I'm going to go with it. I've made up my mind kind of how it's going to work. And this is it just there. So we've got to make that. The only downside to that is I haven't got any bloody wood. So I went to get some this morning and they were shut. So I can't. I need to start building it, because if I don't, I'm just keep looking at it and changing my mind about the best way of going about it. Okay, so I have an idea in my head. I've done some measuring. I think it'll work. We are going to add about 4 tons to the van. But you know, who cares? At least my lights go off and on when I touch them. So that's where we are. What else can I tell you? What else can I tell you? Nothing really. I'm waiting for bits to turn up for the cooker and that kind of thing. So in my head, I wanted to do that bit next, and I can't because I haven't got the bits. So I'm going to have to do something else. Otherwise, I'm just going to stagnate and continually change my mind. So what I am going to do, I'm going to do the other side panel. Oh no, that's what I'm going to do. I've got to cut a hole for the pickup. That's what I've got to do before I put that panel on. I'll tell you what, maybe I'll try and do that this afternoon. Okay, should we video it? Maybe we'll make a video of it. Bear with me. So when I bought the van, I got a load of bits and bobs with it as well, and I got some black plastic bags, a couple of them were just full of trim material, which was no good because it's not the same material that I'm using now anyway. But one of them had all of this in, which is awesome. So it's got a 240 volt plug for the side of the van, and a little fuse box there, so a little thingy unit, a trip unit just in case, and loads and loads of bits and bobs. Maybe not quite enough to do exactly what we got to do, but we haven't got to do much, have we? Okay, superb. So what we're going to do, we're going to fit this onto the side of the van. So where we're going to go with it is on this side, and just in, sounds a bit like filler to me then. We're going to go just here. Okay, so low enough because this below sort of seat height anyway. So I'm going to cut a hole in the van and bolt this on to start with, or at least cut a hole in the van and slot that through it. Okay, so let's go and find the angle grinder. Right, you'll have to excuse it. It's so tight down this side of the bus. There's just no room at all. But as you can see, then, so we've made a hole, cut it with a grinder, and then used the flappy disc to make it a bit bigger, and then neatened it up with actually with a die grinder bit in the end of the drill. And lovely job. So if you look at this, then will go in there beautifully. Okay, perfect job. Perfect job. So what we will do, you can see this has got a felt gasket on it anyway. What we'll do is we'll draw 4 holes, because this has got 4 screws holding it on. We'll then paint it to seal this back up. And then I reckon I'll put a little bit of silicone around this as well when I bolt it in. Okay, but before I do bolt it in, I've got to fix the wires to it, haven't I? Because there'll be a bitch to get on afterwards. So what we do, we'll screw the wires, we'll paint it all off, drill the holes, paint it off, screw the wires in here, and then we'll bolt it on. Yes, good stuff. I'll come back to you as soon as that's done. Whoop. Okay, so we've gone and done it. So we have our power then coming into the van. Awesome. Okay, nice job that, and it looks great from the outside. Are we going to be able to see? Not particularly. So I have my trip unit and a battery charger. I have a caravan, plug and leave one, so you just leave it in there all of the time. Don't have to worry about it. And my idea with them is to mount them down here. So that there, like so, in the corner, out of the way. But I need to mount them on a bit of wood. Now the problem is I need to lift them up off the floor a little bit, but I've got the seat back comes out there of the seat back, so like the floor of the bus bows out there. So I'm going to have to cut a slot in the bit of wood to overcome that. Then I'm going to try and mount these as low as possible. Okay, so give me a minute and I'll come back to you shortly. Okay, so mounted in place, well, I mean roughly mounted in place. I've only just got one screw just holding them on at the moment, but that's where they're going to live. I'm hoping there'll be enough air around this, because it will be under the seat, but it will be open. So I'm not going to shutter it off. So I reckon that'll be alright. Bear in mind it'll only be used when we're stopped anyway, won't it? So now what we've got to do, we've got to wire it up. So what I'm going to do, I reckon, focus, I've got 2 trips here, and on the old, on this it was separated to sockets and fire, fridge, water heater and charger. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing with this, in the sense, if you think about what I'm going to run off of 240 volt, really, it's only the battery charger, some sockets and the fridge. So 3 things, and only a couple of sockets as well. So I'm going to separate it in the same way. I'm going to wire the fridge and the battery charger as one, in one of them, and the sockets separately on the other one. Okay, so I'll just plumb them in. I mean, I'll plumb them in. Obviously I can't plumb anything else in, but I'll put some wires in for the sockets and the fridge as well. Okay, and then I'll come back to you. So it's only a matter of joining some wires up down here. Give myself enough length for where they're going to go to. And yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. It's quite exciting, this, isn't it? So I reckon this will work. So you can see I've wired it in. So I've got main power. Big orange cable is the main power coming in. And I've wired sockets on the black cable. So I've just run it out here. Now the reason I've put this black stuff around it's old drainage pipe, isn't it, for a cooling system, for the sink. But I got shitloads of it in my bag of bits, and I figured this area here, where all of this electronics is going to be, will be a little cubby hole, and it'll be a right handy place for storing things like the charge cable and that kind of stuff, if you see what I mean. So I figured this will just give it a bit of extra protection. Yokie doke, it looks pretty good to me, I think. Now obviously I can't test it, or I can't try it at the moment, because I need to wire everything else in. But what I'm going to do now then is, well, just put the lid on the thingy, and then these are my battery charge cables. So I've got to run these to the front now. Okay, let me just plug it under there. So I'll get some. I'll just put some new ones in. Run those to the front. Yes, job done. Come on, let's keep going. Let's keep going. Well. Look what we've done. Look what we have done. So we've got our charger and our safety box there, which is great. What I've done with the charger, and I've written on here 12 volt, just in case anybody comes across this at a later date, if I sell the van or do anything like that. So positive, negative. And the reason I've brought it up here onto a little sort of chocolate block is if I want to break out, because this will be connected to the auxiliary battery. So if I want 12 volts at the back of the bus, I can get it nice and easily. I might need a couple of reading lights at the back end of the bus, because these are, you know, we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. Okay, so that's what I've done. Speaker wire, I've just run the speaker wire across the top of here for the right hand side, and I'm going to run all of the wires together down this side of the bus. A bit dark, isn't it? A bit dark. Which is what I'm currently doing now. Yeah, we're getting there, aren't we? I bolted that board on in the end, so it's actually all bolted in now. What else can I tell you? I need a cup of tea, or even better than that, Doom Bar. I reckon I'll have one of those, and it will revitalise me and get me to carry on running these wires. Okay, so I've got to run these to the front. Now, what I've used, because it's nice and flexible, because I've got loads of cable with the bus, so I've actually used some like 240 volt style cable there. But it'll be good for 16 amps. And the charger only charges at, what does the charger charge at? 12.5 amps. So that should not be a problem, okay? Yeah. I'll carry on. I'll come back to you in a bit. Oh, too many wires and too much mess and too many doom bars. Even the dog's had enough. Let's call it a night, eh? Let's call it a night and we'll come to it fresh tomorrow. It'll all make sense then, I'm sure. Oh, night. Right, videos are going to get ever so complicated now because I've got more than one thing going on at any one time. So we're in the process of fitting all of the electrics, aren't we? But I'm waiting for a split charge relay, and I've got to buy another battery yet as well. So while I'm waiting for them, I'm going to start cooking. Look at this. Look at this. This is where all my money's gone. Fridge. £1 million that cost. £1 million. So I'm going to start thinking, well, I've thought about it. I'm going to have a go at starting to build some of this. Now, I'm still waiting for the bit of wood I need to face the front of it. But in theory, I can start building around it. And what I've done, I've bought myself a worktop for my cooker unit. Now, this is a big cooker unit for a little van like this, but it will make sense why I've bought this one, and I'll show you that in a minute, I think. And I've bought full fat worktop. Well, it's not full fat, it's 28mm, I think it is. So it's going to be quite weighty, but if you think about it, I'm going to cut most of it out, so there's going to be hardly anything there. So that should not be an issue. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut this down to shape. The shape that I want it. Now, this was only 20 quid from Homebase I got this from, so that's absolutely fantastic, and there's more than enough here for what I need to do. Yeah. All right. So yeah. So first off, we'll cut out the shape that we want out of the worktop. Okay, now this is going to be, as I said, mishmash of videos here. So if you're watching a video to see how or how I'm going to wire it in, you'll have to wait probably until the next video. I'm afraid to say to see how we finish it off. But you know, makes it more exciting, doesn't it? Okay, so I'm going to cut this worktop. Back in a minute. Okay. So I'll cut the worktop out to the shape. Now, this might seem really odd, but there is method to my madness, I promise. I promise there is. So now then, what we're going to do, we're going to cut a hole in the bottom of this for the cooker unit itself. Now, I didn't get a template with it, so we're just going to have to measure it up and cut a hole. Yeah, come on, let's cut holes. Let's do it. I've cut my cooker in, so there's my worktop. Look at my worktop. Awesome. And you know what? I've gone with a bit of proper worktop, but there's so little of it that, you know, I'm not that worried about the weight. And it'll look lovely, won't it? It'll look lovely when it's in there. So that's done. There's about 1,000,001 things you have to do when you're fitting a fridge. So that's going to be a huge job, a huge task. We're still waiting on bits for the electrics. I think in reality, look, my material doesn't pick up too much dust. Yeah, that'll be fine. That'll be fine. I think in reality, where I am now, is I've got to have a bit of a tidy up. And I've got to bolt my floor down. Now I've got to get some other wood because I'm going to go slightly thinner than this. So I need to go and buy some wood. And I can use this, that's fine. I'm going to use this elsewhere in the van anyway. So it's not wasted. It's not wasted. Yeah, man. Okay. So this is just a quick catch-up video, just so you can see where we are. I'm sorry if you're watching to see how we did all of the twin charging and that sort of thing, but you'll have to wait because I'm waiting on bits. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to have a tidy up. I'm still waiting for the wood for the cabinet, which is going to be well, he reckons end of next week, maybe at the earliest. Oh, which is a real shame because I want to get on and do it now. But what I can do is I can start faffing around with the fridge, trying to figure out how to do that. Because, yeah, like I say, there's quite a lot of things. I've got to put another vent in the bottom of the van. And that kind of thing. Okay, but check out the cooker. Now then. Okay, I mean, I was going to wait until I fitted it. But this is a huge cooker for a little van like this. But my reasoning is you haven't got much worktop space, although I have made it quite long. So it will go back a bit. So I've got a little bit of space here. My reasoning for this cooker was because you can lift up the lids separately, if you see what I mean. So if you were cooking, you could cook on this hob here and you could leave this down and it gives you more area. Or if you're washing up, you can leave this one down, you see what I mean? So it gives you more area to work with if you want more area to work with. Rather than having a smaller one that only has one lid, it makes more sense to me to go for a bigger one with two lids. Okay? And that's why I've done it. And I like it as well. I've gone out a little bit here, just so if you're making a cup of tea or something, you've got somewhere to put a cup. It's not particularly big. There's my hand. So yeah, it's not a big area, but it is an area, isn't it? Every little area is good, and that's wasted space in the van as far as I can see. And you'll bang your head on this every time you go to look in the fridge as well. So that's the idea. Okay, so that's where we are. The van's in a complete mess. I've got about 1,000,001 things going through my head at the minute, still trying to figure out different things about it. But I think what I'm going to do, as I say, the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to bolt the floor down. And then I think, hopefully the electrics will turn up. And so next video, we'll carry on with our electrics. And that'd be great because I can get another battery in here then. I've got to buy another battery. Jesus Christ, the money is phenomenal at the moment. But it's going to come to the end soon, I'm sure. Well, the money's already come to the end. What I mean is the spending's going to come to an end soon. But then if I can get the electrics done, I can get the other battery in here and I can charge it up, if you see what I mean. So I can use the electrics on the van. Superb. Okay. So, yeah, I'll catch up with you soon. I'll go and buy some wood. I can't buy it until the weekend, so I will catch up with you then. All right, bye.